Zaku clones are one of the constants of Mobile Suit Gundam as a franchise, but the Universal Century itself has its own suite of Zaku clones, either directly linked to the Zaku lineage, or just imitating the Zaku in one way or another. And the Mobile Suit we're going to be talking about today is much closer to the latter category, as it may look like a Zaku, run like a Zaku, and act like a Zaku, but it is far from a Zaku. Let's talk about the Marasai. During the midpoint of the UC-0080s, the Federation, and by extension, the Titans, had been making extensive use of Anaheim Electronics' newest mobile suit, the RMS-106 Hizack. And it's little wonder why. Cheap cost to buy and maintain, easy to fly and train new pilots on, and even though it had an underpowered reactor, forcing it to use one beam weapon at a time, it wasn't seen as a big issue, as the Hizack was really only going up against old Zeon remnants and their mobile suits, and didn't really have to worry about any near-peer adversaries. That is, until the AUG showed up. Not only was this a proper military faction instead of a group of radicals, but they also had proper mobile suits that couldn't just stand up to the Hizack and its other contemporary mobile suits, but even surpass them. The Rick Diaz was a rude awakening for the Titans, who now had a real threat to contend with. This was only made worse when the AUG managed to steal 3 Gundam Mark IIs from right underneath their noses. All of a sudden, the Titans were panicking, and so they began looking for a new mobile suit to replace the now very outdated Hizack. At about the same exact time, Anaheim Electronics was hard at work with a new design for the AUG, meant to combine all the aspects of the best ideas and designs, rolled into one solid package. The movable frame, Gundarium gamma armor plating, and newer sensor systems all wrapped into a Zeon-inspired product. This unit was dubbed the MSA-002, and it was all going smoothly until...
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
Yep. The Titans busted down the front door and were very interested in Anaheim Electronics' work. See, the Titans weren't entirely stupid. They knew that Anaheim was helping the AUG develop machines for their war against them, much like how Anaheim made deals with Zeon in the past. However, they couldn't prove it without evidence, and thus decided to start putting a lot of pressure on Anaheim. Anaheim, now very much smelling the fire that was lit underneath their asses, were like, "What? Us work with the AUG? Pff, come on, guys, come on, we'd never do that. Here, just to make sure you know we are genuine, we have this brand new mobile suit that we just developed. It's based on the Hizack, which we know you guys love, so why not try it out and maybe perhaps not execute us brutally, please?" And so, after some testing and trials, the Titans adopted the brand new mobile suit for their own forces, changing the model number and rolling out the RMS-108 Marasai. Standing at a height of 20.5 meters tall, though that's mainly thanks to the very large antenna on the head, this unit comes in at a weight of 33.1 metric tons empty and 59.4 metric tons fully loaded. The newer advanced sensors give it a range of 10,900 meters, giving the pilot excellent vision and tracking from the panoramic monitor linear seat cockpit, which had become fairly standard at this point in time. The reactor was rated at an output of 1,790 kilowatts, making it much more powerful than its predecessor's reactor. Mobility was helped by 8 vernier thrusters, supported by 5 rocket thrusters. This gave the Marasai a max acceleration of 1.26 Gs, and rounding it out with a 1.48 mass ratio, which is just the ratio of the suit's wet mass to its dry mass. These thrusters actually allowed the Marasai to achieve atmospheric flight by itself without any subflight system, although it could only do this for a limited time. Now, as previously mentioned, this mobile suit combined 2 new technologies that gave it an extreme edge in combat. Firstly, the movable frame, taken from the stolen Gundam Mark IIs. This new system basically made it so that the frame had better maneuverability and was easier to maintain and repair on the whole. The second was Gundarium gamma armor, first introduced on the RMS-099 Rick Diaz. This was a development of Luna Titanium, which was renamed to Gundarium after the 1-year war in tribute to the Gundam. In essence, it was just a lighter and stronger alloy compared to Luna Titanium. Moving on to the weapon systems, the Marasai serves as one of the rare examples of a Zeon-styled machine that has a pair of head-mounted Vulcan guns, specifically 60mm Vulcans. weapons. Next up, the defensive shoulder shield mounted on the right shoulder was able to move around on a sort of movable joint system, making it much more maneuverable than older models of shoulder shield. This shield also served as a storage rack for the twin beam sabers, which aside from the longer length of the handle, weren't too different from any other beam saber on the market. For its primary weapon, the Marasai rocked the same BR-87A beam rifle used by the Hizack, but due to its power generator being stronger than the Hizack's, the Marasai could use the weapon without worrying about power consumption. Having an output of 2.2 megawatts per shot, the weapon was charged by replaceable E-packs. And of course, since this was a machine used by the Titans, it was of course compatible with a wide variety of other armaments used by the Titans and the Earth Federation at the time. However, the Marasai does have one last notable accessory, the Balyut system. This was an atmospheric reentry device used by a majority of mobile suits around the late 0080s, consisting of a set of thrusters as well as a large balloon parachute that was used to enter the atmosphere and help safely descend to the ground. The Marasai began production at Granada, being the 8th machine produced there, hence the model number 108, and shortly after its introduction, both the Earth Federation and the Titans would use it widely during the Gryps War. Used by both rookie and extremely skilled ace pilots, the Marasai quickly made a name for itself as a proper threat. However, much like many other Titans mass-produced mobile suits, it never saw enough units produced to really make a difference in the conflict, mainly because the Titans were far too focused on high-performance prototypes. Now, on the AUG side of things, as one could probably imagine, they were a little bit upset that their new toy was now being stolen by their enemy. However, it wasn't an entire loss, as the AUG then got the similarly performing MSA-003 Nemo, which they were actually able to fully mass-produce instead of only being mass-produced on paper like the Marasai. After the end of the Gryps War, the Earth Federation found itself very uncomfortable working with Titan's mobile suits, and as such, ended up getting rid of several units, no matter how effective they were.
Alright, get lost all of you, you're fired, go on, scram, get out of here, you moochers!
As one could probably predict, this caused the Marasai to fall into the hands of Zeon Remnant and Neo-Zeon groups. During the events of the first Neo-Zeon War, Amon Karn's Neo-Zeon used the Marasai as kind of just a rank filler, using it to fill out slots in mobile suit squads that didn't have any other units to replace them. The Marasai would also participate in Glemmy Toto's rebellion against Haman, with the units loyal to him being painted a dull gray color. Later on, during the events of the Laplace conflict, several Marasais would be painted Zeon green and used by Zeon Remnant forces, notably during the Battle of Torrington Base. One of these units would take on the Violent Custom Unit 1, but be destroyed during the battle. A second Marasai was caught up by regrouping Federation forces and also destroyed. Now, as one could expect for such a mobile suit, many variants of the Marasai do exist, including the Advanced Marasai, an upgraded version created by the Titans, the 108 MR Marasai, another upgrade made by the Titans that was later on used by Re-Zeon, the Field Customized Strike Marasai, which was used by the Earth Federation Force's 13 Autonomous Mobile Suit Squadron, Dragoon 13, and finally the upgraded Assault Marasai, which had a lot more weapons and armaments than its more standard issue brother. And overall, that's the Marasai, one of several Titans machines that I feel are way too cool to be associated with the Titans of all people. I mean, seriously, why do the bad guys always have to have the coolest things? Anyway, that's all from me today. Like, comment, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Nerd Trooper, signing off.